Hey everybody, we are back on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange to break down today's market action with Jim Cramer. Jim, Under Armour shining with that earnings release. What did you think?
Oh, look, I thought it was the beginning. I think that what we've been waiting to see is the inventories to go down, which means a less promotional environment. Obviously, Under Armour stuff has been what we call football. It's been discounted heavily all over the place, and that may be over. And if that's the case and get more full price, then Under Armour will be able to maintain its margins, which would therefore make it so you want to own the stock. I do want to own the stock. I think it's good.
You think Kevin Plank is back? He's more focused?
Yes, I do.
Also, Jim, CBOE in the spotlight with the VIX.
Well, look, this is complicated. Now, CBOE very quickly issued a denial that they're involved. No one said they're involved. Okay, this is really important. They shouldn't have issued a denial. They have a product. I think the product is a bad product. I think it's toxic to individuals. I know there are a lot of professionals who use it, but a lot of individuals have been doing it and they've gotten really hurt. I want to protect the individual. Why? Because I don't want the individual leaving the stock market as they have so many times because they feel that it's manipulated. There is someone who, a whistleblower, went to the SEC and said it is manipulated. And the CBOE should say, look, we do everything we can to keep a clean house. If people manipulate, then they should be prosecuted. And that's why I thought the release was quizzical. They should have emphasized that if there are manipulators, then they should be thrown out. But they're so defensive that they ended up making it sound like, hey, listen, we run a clean shop. We have no idea what you're talking about. And the whistleblower's done no homework. And that, had I been involved with them, that's an ill-advised position. The position they should take is, listen, we do everything we can to fight manipulation, but if there are manipulators, they should be prosecuted. Which is why I do think that when the CBOE realizes that, and realizes that I'm right, that you'll want to buy the stock. So let's get in ahead of that, because I think that they'll come to the conclusion that it's the government that has to do its job. All I want is for the government to enforce the rules. I would love them to be able to say, what can the government do? They could say we need more margin. The Federal Reserve controls margin. We should raise the margin on that. Maybe it'd make it 100%. But the CBOE should not be defensive. Their stock's a buy here.
And you've questioned before why the government has even greenlighted some of these instruments in the first place.
They shouldn't have greenlighted. The volume is very low. They're easily manipulated by people. And, but that does not mean that the CBOE's at fault. And I did not like their quick denial since they were never attacked. Don't do that. Don't be defensive. Just say, look, if there are people who are manipulating, then they should be prosecuted to the full extent of law. That's not the CBOE's job to find out who's manipulating. They don't have subpoena power. So buy CBOE. It's a good stock to buy here.
Meanwhile, Jim, there was a Wall Street Journal report saying Walgreens is weighing an Amerisource-Bergen deal.
Well, yeah, everyone's saying that. And I think that one of the things that I would caution Walgreens about, which has been a terrible stock, they may think they can diversify away from the front of the store being attacked by Amazon. But Amazon's going up to the back of the store. Amazon, JP Morgan, Berkshire Hathaway are trying to wipe out the margins of the Amerisources and the Cardinals and the McKessons. That's what that whole plan is, that tripartite plan, which is to get rid of what we regard as the copay or the VIG. What are the costs of the healthcare system? Well, Amazon thinks one of the costs, one of the taxes, is the distributors, which take too much of a cut and they make too much money. If you got rid of the distributors, they think that they could do much better. It's undeniable. The distributors will tell you, no, we get much better prices. But Amazon will say, oh, come on. We can get much better prices than you can get. I think it's hard to disagree with that because the companies, Amazon, Berkshire Hathaway, and JP Morgan, are so huge that they basically amount to a distributor. They could argue for great prices, not unlike the VA. And so it's a great time for Amerisource to sell, a great time for Cardinal to sell, and a great time for McKesson to sell. And I think they should all sell and get the best for their shareholders. Yeah,
we talk about the Death Star of Amazon a lot here.
Right.
Jim, Wednesday, big day for Action Alerts Plus. You have your monthly call.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the portfolio management, what portfolio management means in a day when we have such volatility. And I think that one of the things that we've been trying to do is when you have a spike, you cull your stocks that you don't really care for. And then when you have the decline, you put that capital back in. And we'll discuss that at length. I really want people to join the club. getting a lot of satisfied club members on Twitter. That's terrific. But we will really explore the notion of how to be great portfolio managers at a time of volatility.
All right.
How to be. Doesn't mean we're necessarily, because we still allowed Allergan to happen, which is incredible. That's precisely the kind of stock that should have held up better given it sells at 9 times earnings. I kept thinking that the price earnings multiple eventually would stop a decline. That's now become one of the cheapest stocks in the S&P. But that hasn't stopped it from going down.
All right, that call is tomorrow, 11:30 Eastern.
I really want people to sign up.
ActionAlertsPlus.com. Meanwhile, Jim, we're going to continue the conversation. More stocks to talk about on ActionAlertsPlus.com.